They got something like 3,000 people at the public square in Hagerstown on Saturday. And in Hagerstown, the banner for their protest wasn't just no kings, it was no kings, no camps. And that's because it's just outside Hagerstown where the Trump administration is trying to put one of their giant Trump prison camps to hold thousands of people indefinitely and without trial. And Hagerstown has been, and the rest of Maryland has been trying as hard as they can to stop it. So, and that led to kind of an interesting local dynamic. In Maryland, unlike in every other state where people were just expected to go to whatever No Kings protest was nearest to them, in Maryland, a grassroots group called the Maryland Coalition to Stop the Camps asked people in Maryland residents, to come from all over the state, specifically to Hagerstown, to show opposition to this particular prison camp that Trump is trying to put just outside that town. So it was no kings, no camps in Hagerstown, Maryland. And I got to say, there's a piece of that story that is worth watching right now that Kristi Noem has been ousted as Trump's Homeland Security Secretary, and this new guy, the former Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin, is taking over. One of the things that has emerged about these warehouse purchases they're making for the Trump prison camps is that, for some reason, the Trump administration appears to be eager to wildly overpay for these warehouses that they're buying, even before they start spending to convert them into prison camps. So like in Salt Lake City, they paid nearly 50% more than the property appeared to be worth. This warehouse facility was assessed at roughly $97 million. For some reason, the Trump administration decided they wanted to pay over $145 million for it. Why is that? Roxbury, New Jersey. The warehouse they bought there was assessed at $62 million. The Trump administration came in and offered them $129 million. More than double what you'd expect to pay for it. One of the warehouses they bought in Georgia was valued just last year at $26 million. The Trump administration came in and bought it for $129 million. Assessed at $26 million, they came in and paid $129 million? What's going on there? What's going on there? Well, I will just point out two other things that are going on that might shed a little bit of light on this ultimately. Number one, the Washington Post obtained an internal memo that apparently circulated last week, the day after Markwayne Mullin was sworn in as the new head of Homeland Security. That memo reportedly said that the process of turning these warehouses into Trump prison camps is going to be slowed down, that the proposals for these facilities are going to be revised, that they're going to start incorporating feedback from stakeholders, whatever that means, before they move ahead with these Trump prison camps. Why is that? Why are they slowing down? What's up with that? Well, turns out simultaneously we have learned that there's a new Inspector General investigation into alleged corruption at the Department of Homeland Security. The soliciting and handling of contracts, quote, including the involvement of former Secretary Kristi Noem and her de facto chief of staff, Corey Lewandowski. There was already an internal audit that had been sparked in the department for some reason. But now on top of that, there's a new and apparently quite urgent, quite aggressive investigation, which apparently included investigators searching the offices of one Homeland Security official last week, an official who had been reportedly placed in her DHS job by Corey Lewandowski and Kristi Noem. After NBC News recently reported that Corey Lewandowski reportedly sought multi-million-dollar payments from companies that were contracting with Homeland Security, including specifically companies that operate immigration prisons, he was seeking multi-million-dollar payments for himself from those companies as he was acting as the de facto chief of staff at that agency, including an unusual degree of oversight of contracts. I mean, Mr. Lewandowski denies this, but Democratic members of Congress have now opened their own investigation into what may have been going on there. So I'm just, you put these things together, I'm just going to say, hey, you guys, anybody wondering why it is that they slapped an extra $60, $80, $100 million on top of the price tag for these Trump prison camp warehouses they're buying in multiple states? Through totally opaque processes that make no financial sense whatsoever on their face? Yeah, you guys maybe want to slow that down a sec? 3,000 people in the Hagerstown, Maryland public square would like you to slow that down for sure. Social Circle, Georgia, town officials put a lock on the water meter at the warehouse the Trump administration is trying to turn into a prison there. I think they'd like you to slow it down a little bit, take another look. The city council in Salt Lake City, Utah, just voted to cap the amount of water they'd be allowed to use at the warehouse they want to be a huge prison there as well. That's one where they appear to have overpaid $48 million for that warehouse for no explicable reason. Yeah, maybe they'd like you to slow that down, take another look at that one as well. Why'd they overpay for all these things in such a rush? Why'd they overpay by tens of millions of dollars at one of these things after another? Who made off with all of that money? Whose pockets just got stuffed with the tens of millions of dollars in taxpayer money that is unaccounted for in almost all of these transactions? Yeah, you think you might want to slow it down a little bit? That stink is what you think it is. It smells like corruption, which, you know what, kings and dictators on their golden toilets are quite famous for.